I'm talking to John Knorr, CEO and founder of SIS Business Systems. John, in Uglii Systems, what are the benefits for brand owning businesses?
So the Uglii brand system is a system based on a taxonomy of products and services in the economy. And the Uglii brand system allows a brand owning business to list itself under the product or services that it sells. Now that's very important because our system does that in what we call a chronological order, which basically means if you're into the system early, you get the best position in the system.
First in, best dressed.
First in, best dressed. Okay? And everybody knows, every business knows that it's best to be in a directory system high in the list rather than low in the list.
Sure.
So businesses need to come into the system and secure their position. And as long as they pay the very small annual fee for that position in that list, which in developed economies is about $10 US, so it's a fairly minor fee. Then they can maintain that list. So as long as they pay their $10 every year, then and if they're high in that list, then they retain their high position. So it's fairly simple and it's affordable, but it's also very powerful because people use this system to look very specifically for the product or service that they want. And if a brand owning business's brand is there, then they can see it. That brand can be clicked on and linked across to a whole lot of information about that brand's brand and the product or service that is involved, the model of the product or service. So if it's a bit of machinery, for example, the detailed models. It also links across to resellers, so that if a brand has resellers in an economy, it can instantly show the resellers in the economy using our technology, but it's a very powerful system.
Can you give us an example of how a television set could be listed on the system?
Let's use a real brand. Let's say I'm Sony, and I go in there and I list under plasma TVs, then I can then also list a sub-list of all of the models of plasma TVs in the system. Right. Each of those listings is going to cost them $10, Sony $10 for that economy. So, it's still a very small amount of money. Yes. And the structure of our system allows them to link across to the various web pages. So if I want a particular model of a Sony television, then I can have a look at the specifications for it. I can look at any videos that relate to it. I can look at any credentials that may be out in the economy for it, where people have credentialed it. Somebody might have credentialed it because it's energy efficient, or it gives a high quality of visual definition, or acoustic definition, or whatever it may be. Sure. That can be described in the system as part of the service.
And what about resellers then?
Resellers, yeah. Sony can buy a process in our systems, in our spatial systems, in the Uglii Find system, that shows all the resellers for Sony. Right. Okay, across the economy.
It's a very powerful sales tool. Then.
It's a very powerful sales tool. It's very affordable as well. The beauty of that system, of course, is that what it's also doing is it's credentialing the resellers. Right. So if there's a store in a town that sells those Sony TVs, then it's getting put into its discovery settings in our system, the credential that relates to each of those Sony TV models. Right. Very specifically. So if somebody just comes looking in our system for a Sony TV, then they're going to be found. They don't have to find Sony. They will be found. Right. Okay, so it's a very, very powerful system. Now those benefits for that brand extend out to later on, so that if a business wants to, or a consumer wants to request an offer for suppliers, resellers, to make a pitch to it about supplying a particular model of Sony TV, then all they have to do is click on that Sony TV, the listing, and it'll request the offers for it. So suppliers that want to supply that model of Sony TV into that area can compete to get the business.
So a customer can indicate its requirement for a 50-inch plasma television, and the resellers that are listed within the system can come back and make an offer.
Yes, and they can, but they can also do it on a geographic basis.
Right.
So if I'm a supplier, a reseller of Sony, and I only want to do it, sell in my neighbourhood because that's where I think I can compete, then I can limit my offers into that neighbourhood. If I'm more aggressive and I want to go further, or I've got trucks that can distribute these things for me wider, then I can describe in our system, in our mapping systems, a bigger catchment into which those offers can be made.
So if you've got something that's easily available worldwide, you could be marketing your product globally.
Absolutely, yeah. Probably not televisions, no, but certainly if I've got that sort of facility, or if I've got that product or service, yeah, I can. The whole world could be my oyster, so I can make offers to anybody who requests that model or that brand or even that service or product generically. Then I can make offers to that if that's what works for me. This has got very important implications for brands that want to export too. So if I'm a manufacturer of a particular bit of equipment and I want to export in another country or the whole world, then by listing in Uglii brands, I can be exposed. I can also not only leave my listing in my home country, but if I want to penetrate another economy with my product or service, I can do what we call a flag listing, which basically allows me to post my brand in the Uglii brand system of another country.
Right.
That means that if businesses or consumers come looking in that system for what I sell, then they can see that that I can supply that from my country.
Sure.
Now I might have exchange rate advantages or cost advantages, or some sort of convenience advantage or quality advantage over the other suppliers.
Or perhaps they can't get it in their own economy.
Or perhaps they can't get it in their own economy. That might be too small an economy to have my type of services laid on in that economy. So they've got to import that from a bigger economy. So these processes make brands discoverable where they want to be discovered. Very powerful system. Very important for brands that they come in to the system early and not hang back. It's important for them that they not wait to see what their competitors do, because if they wait, they're going to be at a disadvantage to their competitors. Yeah, so
yes.
It's very important
there's
for brands to be proactive. Yeah,
there's really no reason for them to wait. It doesn't cost anything for them to register their business, does it?
It doesn't cost them anything to register their business, but it costs that $10 to list their brand in the system.
Pretty minor.
It's a pretty minor thing. You'd much rather be known as the brand manager who wasted $10 in the system than the guy who missed out and ended up with the brand right down the bottom of the list.
Sure.
So it's very important for brand managers to be proactive in that system. Otherwise, they will get sort of relegated down the list, and it's not the smartest place to be in any list in any directory system.
No, that's right.
And it's less smart in our system because our systems are so powerful.
Thank you very much, John.
Pleasure.